Welcome to the place where art and nature collide at the North Carolina Museum of Art. On this walking tour, you will see inspired art representing the natural world. The art interacts with its surroundings and puts a new twist on how we view nature. The NC Museum of Art has 24 pieces of art on the outdoor property, but on this tour, we will be taking the Blue Loop, which is about a mile long, including 8 stops. Please follow your map to the Blue Loop, right by the pond. Our first stop will be Forest for the Chairs. When you hear the birds, please pause the tour and enjoy the art before you. When you are ready, walk to the next stop and press play to continue. For the Chairs is the first stop on our tour. It may have taken a while to find this piece of art because it can be easily overlooked. And when you do see it, it can be somewhat of a funny sight. Different chairs suspended in trees, but for seemingly no reason. It symbolizes the process of how we make something as simple as chairs, and to remember where they come from. It is from our trees. Do you think you see all of them? Decide on how many you think there are, and see if you are correct at the next stop. The number of chairs in the trees was 32. If you didn't get that number, then maybe you can go back at the end of the tour to find them all. Our next stop is the Lowe's Park Pavilion. What an interesting piece of work! Built by Mike Cendrick and Vincent Picharka in 2007, this pavilion was inspired by dragonfly wings and their transparency. It changes with the environment around it, such as the trees, leaves, and the amount of light reflecting off of it. Not only can you take a moment to sit, but also look at the scenery around you. What a great view! The next piece of art in our tour is Wind Sculpture 2, created by Yinka Shonabar in 2013. This sculpture was made out of a steel armature with hand-painted fiberglass and a resin cast. It is inspired by a piece of cloth, which Yinka is known for his works from fabric. This artwork seeks a diverse cultural identity through Indonesian materials made by the Dutch, which was then sold by the British to the African marketplace. Many different hands get materials into homes, and this sculpture represents that on a larger scale. The Crossroads Trickster 1, the next stop on our tour, is quite the sight and is hard to miss. It was made by Martha Jackson Jarvis in 2005. This 20-foot piece of art marks the meeting of the Blue Loop Trail and an unpaved trail. One fact not widely known is that the artist, Martha, used old brick from the Polk Youth Correctional Facility that was here before the museum. It serves as a reminder and tribute of the history of this land. This piece of artwork entitled Invasive can blend in with the trail that you are walking on. Also described as road tattoos, Steve Taylor was trying to capture the invasive species that are in our world today. One fact about this piece of art is that it runs over 1,000 feet of the paved trails. This specific section is inspired by European floral fabric patterns. Our next stop is Wind Machine, created by Vala Simpson in 2002. This 30 by 30 by 15 foot structure is made of discarded parts from cars, trucks, highway signs, anything he could find. This wind machine is able to convert wind into a power source. The first one he ever made, he was overseas for World War II. Ever since then, he has used his time during retirement to make other wind machines out of everyday items. Collapse 1 by Liddell Moe in 2000 was made out of concrete and steel. It is a sculpture of the legs and back of someone who has fallen over. It is 30 feet long, 12 feet wide, and 9 feet tall. To some, it may look a little strange, only being half a person and focusing on the backside, but this is meant to provoke your thoughts on permanence and fragility. The last stop and one of the most popular pieces of artwork out here is the gyra. Thomas Sayer created this in 1999 in a fascinating way. 3 elliptical trenches were dug out of the ground by a backhoe, and then they were filled with concrete and steel. Do you know how long it sat there until the rings were lifted out? 1 whole month, until a crane came out and got them out of the ground and placed them where they are now. The name for gyra refers to gyration, or a spiral motion like the artwork creates. This completes our tour. Thank you for participating on this tour and seeing where art and nature collide. The North Carolina Museum of Art hopes you have enjoyed yourself, and please check out our other exhibits outside and also in the museum. Have a nice day!